Hi folks, I'm Matt and welcome to My Expanded Universe, a show where I go through the entire EU in chronological order as best I know how. Well, it's time to return back to that X-wing Rogue Squadron series. And it was at its lowest point last time we talked about it, and now immediately it turns and hits what is possibly the best issues of the series. And we're going to be talking about them right now. First off, issues 21 through 24. Now, these were written by Michael Stackpole himself. Finally, that co-writer that they've been pairing him with is gone. Now, either one of two things happened again. Either Michael Stackpole said, no, I can dedicate more time to this, or he said, hey, I don't need any more training wheels, I don't need helpers, or maybe Dark Horse said, hey, we think he's got this now, let's let him go fly on his own. And man, when they did it, I don't know what happened here, but this is when the series just got elevated so much. Of course, I'm talking about the introduction to Baron Fel. Now, if you don't know who Baron Fel is, you are doing yourself a disservice. You will hear and read a little bit about him in the books, and he makes some guest appearances. Sometimes he's a side character in there, but you haven't met Baron Fel unless you read the X-wing Rogue Squadron books. In fact, it is the absolute best thing about the X-wing Rogue Squadron series. Michael Stackpole created a fantastic character with Baron Fel. I know everyone's going to say that their favorite character that Michael Stackpole ever created was Corn Horn, which is a fine character. He's a fine character, very instrumental in the books. But to me, Baron Fel was just an absolute hit. I was enamored with him. I was like, what is this? He's the answer to, the X-wing Rogue Squadron, Wedge and his Rogue Squadron. Baron Fel has the elite team that he leads over on the Imperial side, and his TIE fighters are fantastic. In fact, I always hoped that they would make a Baron Fel, series about a younger Baron Fel rising through the ranks, or him taking his squad out on missions, going up against the rebels. I would have loved to have seen that. But Michael Stackpole, man, created, honestly, Thrawn's great, but in the Hall of Fame for Imperials, Baron Fel has got to be there. So that's what Rogue Squadron's going against, the legendary Baron Fel. Now, honestly, Stackpole knew he had something good going on, because in issue 25, which is honestly the highest point in this entire series, was called The Making of Baron Fel. Folks, it was a double-sized issue, and it was amazing. It was amazing. We got to see all the backstory from Baron Fel. I'll probably reveal it later in another story, but he is connected to Wedge, and it's just great. We get to see, in a nutshell, what I wanted to see an entire series based off of. But I remember when that came out, I didn't even realize it was number 25 in a series, because I thought it was like a special edition X-wing Rogue Squadron. I was like, oh, this looks awesome. And of course, the cover again just looks amazing. And I was like, yes, more Baron Fel. And I've always enjoyed him when he pops up in the books, but that's because of the comic books that introduced him and just made him so amazing. I'm trying to think of what made him so cool, because he had he was the exact opposite of Wedge. He was the answer to Rogue Squadron from the Imperial side. And he was a great, great character, very in-depth. Now, of course, later on we'll read more about his kid, right? But for right now, Baron Fel, such a legendary character, I would say if you were to read the X-wing Rogue Squadron series and you just wanted to fast forward to issue 21, I wouldn't stop you. I'm not saying that, everything was garbage up to then, but with the Warrior Princess story arc, step down. And the next story arc underneath that, horrible, the worst. It went from worst to really good. I remember telling one of my buddies when I was reading the comic book issue by issue, I went, oh, this is much better. Oh, this is great. So I'm wondering maybe if Michael Stackpole didn't have a big say in the last two story arcs, since they didn't feel like Stackpole. Now, I could be totally wrong on that. Could be totally wrong. But Stackpole definitely righted the ship and really hit the ball out of the park with these issues, 21 through 25, with 25 probably being the apex. Now, I'm not saying it's all down here from here. There was great storytelling. Of course, Baron Fail is going to continue to be an integral part of the series, but the creation of that character, fantastic, fantastic. I love it when the expanded universe gives us a character that is just as memorable as a movie character. Now, there's a good handful. I could pick out a ton of characters like that, but on the Imperial side, like villains, it's hard to get a really good villain, and I think Baron Fail at least started off that way. All right, folks, that's it for now. See you next time with another video.